Broadus, we got the draft season is starting to move a little bit. We have a Mel Kiper mock draft I want to pick your brain on. And this with the Senior Bowl lurking around the corner, we got some cool stuff after the national championship where all eyes were on the Miami defense in a lot of ways. Now, Indiana's got some players. I mean, there's no question. Indiana's got some guys that if you were watching through a Cowboys lens, you might say, "Ooh, I'd like that guy. I'd like that guy." No question about it. But the headliners from a draft standpoint were on the defensive side of the ball for the Hurricanes. Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, two edge rushers that are first-round picks. Keontae Scott, a nickel corner safety kind of hybrid dude who is fantastic. The Cowboys could certainly use him as well. All of those guys are going to the Senior Bowl, which is exciting. That is exciting. Hopefully we're seeing them practice at least once or twice. And I feel bad. Like the offensive tackles that are going to the Senior Bowl are like, crap. We got to deal with Bain and Mesidor now. These guys are absolute savages. And I got a lot of respect for them. Their competitive nature. You can watch it when they play. That Hurricanes defense played with violence and tenacity. Keontae Scott, he's a smaller dude, but he will smack you. He wants to get up and get physical. Bain, Mesidor, these guys are relentless. And the fact that they're going to the Senior Bowl after such a long, grueling physical season, going all the way to the Natty, man, if you get these guys suited up for a practice or two and you can watch them in one-on-ones, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe this is going to be one of those times where, and Drew Fabianich, a buddy of mine, buddy of the program, I mean, he's a big fan of what we do over with Drew was a scout, longtime scout with the Cowboys. Drew and I worked together, started together in the early 2000s with the Cowboys. Known Drew a long time, and he is the director of the Senior Bowl. Really excited for him and what he's done. He's got a really good roster. He takes a lot of pride in that. He knows the importance of having the motto of the Senior Bowl is the draft starts here. And, that's something that they take a lot of pride in. I know we got the East-West game coming up too. I'll be part of the broadcast team on Tuesday night doing that. Looking forward to seeing those players as well. But, if you I'll be interested to see with those Miami players, how much do they really do? They're coming off a very grueling run that they had. How beat up are they? Are they going to practice? Are they just going to, stand there and be interviewed and let people get an idea of the type of kids they are? That very well could be in the mix. I'll reach out to Drew and see if the intent is for those kids to practice. It might be, like I said, with all of the NFL world descending on Mobile, Alabama, as it does every year. Are they just there to meet with teams and have a chance to interview and kind of get a jump on the scouting process? But hopefully Drew can get them to play some football, maybe practice a day or two. If they play in the game, that might be a whole nother thing.
Okay, let's get into before we get to the Dean Julian mailbag, let's pick your brain on the latest Mel Kiper mock draft. Of course, the Cowboys are picking at 12 and 20. I'll run through the lead up to 12 here. You stop me if anything piques your interest. Of course, the Raiders, he has them taking Fernando Mendoza of Indiana. You have the Jets at 2 taking Arvell Reese, Ohio State linebacker. At 3, you have Francis Maui-Noah, the right tackle for Miami, who is easily, first or second best offensive tackle in this draft. He's a stud. He goes 3 to the Cardinals. First edge rusher off the board is Texas Tech, David Bailey, 4 to Tennessee. Then you have the Giants taking Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate. At 6, you have the Browns taking Utah offensive tackle.
Can I stop you real second? Can I stop you real quick there, Eric? Real quick on that one. To me, this is where all of a sudden you look at the Giants at 5, and with Maui-Noah going to Arizona at 3, maybe that's a little bit of one of those. The Giants kind of was. I think Maui-Noah. I know that people love the Utah kids. But I will tell you this. You mentioned the playoff games. You can watch Malinois play all season long at Miami, the consistency and all that. If I'm the Giants, I'm a little bit hurt. I'm a little bit hurt by now the Giants have tried for ages to draft offensive linemen. They've tried to sign free agents with offensive linemen. It's just been a problem for them. And man, if they lose out on a guy like Malinois, at 5, boy, that would have been a really, really good pick for them. And so if he were to go to Arizona at 3, that'd be a tough one. But boy, he could surely reverse the fortunes of some bad offensive line drafts if you were able to get him at 5. But with Arizona taking him at 3, I could see the skill positions coming into play for the Giants.
At 7, you have the Commanders taking Miami edge rusher.
Who did you have? I'm sorry, at 6. Who was at 6? Was Cleveland at 6?
Yeah, Cleveland at 6 takes Spencer Fano.
Okay, then there's the other tackle. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And then you get Reuben Bain, edge rusher, Miami to 7 to the Commanders. That would suck to have him in the division there because he's a monster. At 8, you have the Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. So you've got 2 edge rushers, unless you include Arvell Reese, that would be 3 off the board. You have 2 wide receivers off the board and 2 offensive tackles off the board in this scenario. Right. At 9, Kansas City goes Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. At 10, and I've been seeing a lot of this at 10.
Okay, now we're in good shape. We're in good shape here, and I'll tell you why. The teams that if you're one of these teams that was looking for Caleb Downs, if you were a team that was looking at Caleb Downs, the team that you need to navigate through, the Commanders at 7, Kansas City at 9. These are 2 teams that traditionally have drafted safeties, and they've drafted safeties very high, and these safeties have worked out for them. So if you're a Caleb Downs fan as the Dallas Cowboy, then you're sitting pretty good knowing that he got past the Commanders and he got past the Kansas City Chiefs. So please proceed on. We got the Cincinnati at 10.
Yes, and this is where I've been seeing a lot of mock drafts taking Caleb Downs.
Okay,
safety Ohio State. And
did he go there? Did he go? Kuiper did the same thing. Okay,
yeah,
there you go. I wouldn't have put Cincinnati in play like that, but you start to now. I will say this about the Cincinnati Bengals. The founder of the Cincinnati Bengals was a gentleman named Paul Brown, and Paul Brown's was a legendary figure in the National Football League. He was a pillar, with the Cleveland Browns. The family is a long-time NFL family. Paul Brown coached at Ohio State. They love Ohio State players at the Cincinnati Bengals. They really do. I mean, that is something. You go back through the history of them and look at the number of Cincinnati these number of Ohio State players they've taken. It would not surprise me with Caleb Downs being an Ohio State player going there. It really, really wouldn't. So, but I thought I'd have to navigate 7 and 9. Well, it sounds like I've got to navigate 10 as well. So, unfortunate for the Cowboys if they were holding on that particular player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes sense with the Ohio State love that the Bengals have, kind of keeping him home there a little bit. And they need defensive players. And Caleb Downs is easily one of the best.
One of the best. Yeah.
Defensive players in the draft. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense that they would want to go ahead and snag him there. So now at 11, you have the Dolphins. Kuiper has them taking Auburn edge rusher Keldrick Falk.
Boy, they did me a favor. They did me a favor there. Okay, as a Dolphin observer, how do you feel about that pick there, Eric Chiafalo?
Well, I'm not crazy about it because Keldrick Falk is one of these guys. I mean, he's only 20 years old, so you kind of have some hope that there's plenty more development that could come with a guy like that. And I think he was much better the previous year.
Sure was.
So if it was coming out last year, I think people would maybe be more excited about it. But the year he just had, I mean, it's tough. His pass rush win rate, not even just like his sacks were not good, the total number. And then the win rate on the pass rush
was not good either.
not good at all.
Yeah.
And then even when you look at like, okay, is he just like a great run defender? Like there is a ton of other guys that had more TFLs than him as well. It wasn't even like he was just a total TFL monster.
It really is a tough evaluation because the 2024 tape is clearly better than the 2025 tape. This guy's 6'6", 285. I mean, this is a big man. And listen, not trying to slam on him or anything like that. I think if you're a fan and you want somebody, a big body that can maybe play the run a little bit better. The pass rush stuff was kind of comes and goes, but he is not the bendy, quick, up the field, fast guy. He is a strong, powerful guy, and that's cool. But if you think he's going to go and get double-digit sacks, that's not this guy. It's not this guy at all. So, to be honest with you, Miami taking him at 11 makes me breathe a sigh of relief. I'm like, now that, wow, okay, good. I don't have to worry about that one. The old fake pin throw, like, oh, damn, we lost our guy, In reality, you're grateful somebody took him off your hands.
Yeah, I mean, and there's 14 edge rushers in this draft that had more TFLs than this guy.
No question.
So it's not even like, oh, he's just living in the backfield, and as a run defender, he's unbelievable. Like I think he's solid there. You mentioned the body type, like he'll be a solid edge defender.
God, he is big. He's a good looking player. It's just depending on if that's what you want. If you want a guy that's probably more suited right now playing run defense than he is rushing the passer. And there's questions about that.
Yeah, and for the Cowboys, he would not be a guy that I would want them to take. Do you think he's going to be in their conversation though?
Always will be. Yeah. It depends on the new coordinator too. Now we need to kind of figure out where they're, with Gannon's situation, if it's him or Parker or Jones, you could kind of maybe get a body type idea. You would like to believe. I think that with Parker coming from Philadelphia, being at Denver too, that was about big inside guys and fast guys on the edge. So I think that maybe that this guy would not fit that type of need for him for sure.
Yeah, we're starting to whittle down guys we know we don't want. We don't want Jonathan Gannon running the defense, and we don't want Keldrick Falk being the
Falk's a good player, but man, for me, if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm hoping for better.
So at 12, Kuiper has the Cowboys taking Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles.
Yeah. Can you tell me who went? Can you tell me who went after him, please?
Yeah, you have Jermod McCoy, the Tennessee corner, going right after to the Rams at 13.
First round grade on him.
You have the Ravens taking USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon at 14.
I have a first round grade on him.
You have the Bucks at 15 taking Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq.
I have a second round grade on him. He's a really good player. He's probably the best tight end in the draft.
He's got the Jets at 16 taking Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback.
Have yet to evaluate the quarterback. Have a feeling he'll be somewhere between a first and second round grade for me.
17, the Lions take the crazy name guard out of Penn State.
Okay.
Ola Vega.
Yeah.
Ione or whatever.
Yeah.
The Vikings take LSU corner Mansour Delane at 18.
First round grade on him.
Panthers at 19 take Georgia linebacker CJ Allen.
Second round grade on him. And I actually have Hill, the linebacker from Texas, over him.
Okay. And then at 20, Cowboys back on the clock here, and he takes Miami edge rusher Akeem Mesidor.
There you go. I'll tell you, that would be, me personally, if you were to give me an opportunity, and depending on what you think about McCoy, the corner from Tennessee, he's, I've seen reports that he's now working out. He's going to be ready. He's probably going to run. There's not going to be this weight. I mean, he's a year removed now from his knee surgery. If that scares you away, great, fine. But if you take Delane from LSU and take Mesidor from Miami at 12 and 20, your defense is really improved. Your defense is really, really improved. Those are two quality get after it, competitive fighters when you start to talk about the way that they play. McCoy, like I said, you might at Tennessee, you might not like the injuries. Now, with Mesidor too as well, there's a history of some foot surgeries there. So is this a foot surgery like what you have in Deron Bland, or is this something that was just a corrective, preventative kind of a thing? That needs to be checked. And you're hearing it first. We've talked about it on a lot of our platforms. I know Wolchuk and I have talked about it before. We've talked about it on our show on 105.3 The Fan. We've talked about it on the Stack. We've talked about it, myself with Ach Lombardi on Doing All Right. I mean, just know that when you've heard it here first, that when you get to the combine, there's going to be some questions about Mesidor's feet. Just know that going in.
Mm-hmm.
It could either be all good, or there's a concern there. Just keep in mind on that.
All right, there's your little mock draft from Mel Kiper right there. Now it's time for the Dean Julia mailbag. You're listening to the Love of the Star podcast. Love of the Star is an Odyssey podcast. You can find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. Presented by the On Time Experts, the official AC heating and plumbing partner of Love of the Star at the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Stars. They have a proven track record with thousands of happy customers, locally trusted with years of experience serving the community, transparent pricing, no surprise add-ons or hidden fees. They have friendly background check technicians that you will feel comfortable having in your home. 100% satisfaction guarantee, no excuses, no exceptions. Same day or you don't pay policy for certain repairs. You will pay less over time because they correctly diagnose your issue and fix it right the first time. So visit the ontimeexperts.com, click the book now button. Everything is backed by their stay warm guarantee all winter long. Call on the On Time Experts and they'll come to your home the same day. They are the best in the business, and we got the winter storm coming in. So have these guys on call here. On Time Experts, the ontimeexperts.com. Click the book now button. They will take care of you. Okay, let's get into the Dean Julia mailbag here, Broadus, before we close things down. And Steve Allen is curious about the probable defensive coordinator. I think they've whittled it down to 3. It sounds like it's Gannon or Christian Parker or Durante Jones.
Yes,
and then you still have the Jim Leonard stuff. You're waiting around. So I guess it's whittled down to 4, and we'll kind of see how they played here. Do you have a gut feel one way or another on this?
Well, not really.
Yeah.
There's factors for all these guys. There's factors is, will Shoddy lean on Clayton Adams for the Jonathan Gannon hire? Did he like him enough? Did Jonathan Gannon convince Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones that Jerry Jones made the comment like, we've got enough bones to play defense? When he's talking about the bones, he's talking about his defensive personnel, the guys in place. My hope is that somebody will come in here and say, listen, you don't have enough players. You don't. That's my hope. And maybe it makes Jerry and Steven and Will have to go out and try and get more players. That's my hope. I think Gannon is the one that we could pick the most holes in because of he has a history. I think Christian Parker to me is the one. If I had to say, give me a personal favorite, Christian Parker would be my personal favorite. I like his background. I like what he did with the Philadelphia secondary. I think Dallas secondary needs a huge upgrade when it comes to the coaching and potential evaluation of more players. For him to fight, Christian Parker to fight for Cooper DeJean and to fight for Mitchell and guys like that, play with some bad players, hide some bad players, and play the way he has. You have to give him a lot of credit for that. Durante Jones sounds like a very interesting guy just because of the background he has with Brian Flores and the way that they're able. Now, is he Brian Flores? We don't know that. He might have his own ideas of things that he wants to do. But like I say, the Jim Leonard one, I think if things were clean, I think they would pick Jim Leonard. But they're not clean right now, and they might be forced to pick between Gannon, Parker, and Jones going forward here.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would like Parker. I know people want to know, but all four of these candidates are at different stages. And it's just to determine, like I say, that you do, if you're not a Jonathan Gannon fan, you need to be worried about the sponsor in the room. That's where you need to be concerned.
Okay. Next question here is from Mike Brownson, just wanting to know about the draft strategy for the Cowboys in the later rounds. And right now the Cowboys, they have the pick 12 and 20 in the first round, and then they don't pick again until round 4.
Yeah.
And then they have 3 picks in the 5th round, and then they have a 6th round pick and 2 7th round picks.
Right.
So you're going to go on day 2. You have no picks here, 2nd and 3rd round. And you'd have to imagine they're going to want to try and get back in there. What do you think is the best avenue for doing that?
Well, the best avenue would probably be to move either pick 20 or pick 12 or pick 20. That would be the best avenue. I don't know if you necessarily want to give up. I mean, you've already given up a 1 to get Quinnen Williams. So you're in a kind of a situation right now where you're going to have your own 1, and then the 1 you gave up from, you're going to give up from Green Bay for that. So me personally, the pick that might have the most value is actually pick 12. Might have the most value. I think when you start to get to 20, you've kind of got the pockets of the same kind of players. So I don't know if people are necessarily going to want to just move up to get, if there's a pocket of players, the corners, the edges, the wide receivers, there's just pockets. So at 20, it's kind of the same guy. Whether you like, I'm just using an example of the wide receivers: Boston at Washington, Concepcion at Texas A&M, Brazil from Tennessee. Kind of all the same players. And so maybe somebody's not interested in moving in. I think that maybe at 12 might be your best way of moving down. And maybe somebody will want to be aggressive and come and get 12. And then like a Detroit overpay when they went and got the corner Arnold from Alabama. They paid you a third, which was an overpay. Maybe you could do something to recoup a day 2 pick. It's going to be a long day. If they don't do anything, it's going to be a long day sitting there, in the second, third, round, kind of doing that. It's going to be a long, long day for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be efforting to try and trade down, to be honest with you. I mean, of course, if somebody that you thought was going to be a top 7 pick or whatever falls to you at 12, then maybe you just stand tall and make that pick. But for the most part, I would love to move, because there's just so many holes here. If you can get an edge rusher, a linebacker, a corner, and a safety, like those 4 positions are so huge. And maybe, I mean, do you think, which one of those positions do you think stretches the furthest into your pick at the 4th round? If you didn't make a trade there and you just stood tall and took 12 and 20, what position would you be looking at in the 4th round?
Well, if you didn't take an edge at 12 or 20, this thing could probably stretch for you a little bit. I mean, I've got, and this is, 70 some odd players. I've got 5 4th round grades, not on edges, but on other positions. So, more edges, we're going to get into a lot more of those types of players. So I think kind of the edge, probably the corner group will stretch if you weren't to address those. Maybe this offensive tackle group will stretch. Just so far what I've seen, it seems like I have more of a pocket of 3rd round guys than I do 1st and 2nd round guys. So that's kind of that group could stretch a little bit for you as well. But there'll be pockets. There'll be pockets of players. Like I said, I wanted to ask you real quick and I think I asked this question on the G-Bag Nation. If someone were to sign an offer sheet for your kicker, Brendan Aubrey, and it's north of $7 million a year, Are you interested in doing that, or are you going to take the second round pick that you're going to get? There are options to recoup without trading 12 and 20. One of them is likely to not, if someone were to come after Brandon Aubrey, or somebody maybe wanted something to do with George Pickens. Those are options that you have,
Yeah.
With a tag, and then a tag and a tender. Are you? And I think, Brandon, if someone were to say the Rams, who've been kind of looking for kicker all year, and then they look like they found a guy, but the Rams might be one of these teams that say F them picks, and I don't know if the Rams even have a second round pick. Hell, they might not, but somebody might say, listen, we're a great kicker away from our team being really, really good here.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that if someone were to offer him $7 million that you wouldn't match that and you would just take the second round pick?
I mean, I would just be interested in trying to get an actual deal done with Aubrey. I would. I mean, the part of the reason why it scares me is because the Cowboys have oftentimes taken their second round picks and just set them on fire.
Yeah.
It's not like you have any confidence that they're going to take a player in the second round that is going to be worth it, because there's a long history of them just totally missing in the second round. So that is something that scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
Then
if that's the case, Eric, if you're just the way you're talking, and I'm not saying it's wrong, pick the guys at 12 and pick the guys at 20. Don't worry about a day 2 pick. If that makes you that like, they just fire them into the sun, I mean, if that's the case, then maybe you're not overly concerned with having a day 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Seattle fan or a Rams fan, and I'm like, man, I love the way we draft, it would make me feel a little bit different, and I'd probably be more open to moving on from the kicker to get somebody that you absolutely need, probably defensively.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the one thing about the Cowboys that I'm kind of like iffy on. Like, do you just want to take what you have in Aubrey, which is one of the best kickers in the league,
sure,
and feel good about that instead of taking another boss man fat?
Yeah. Luke Schoonmaker, boss man fat.
Scooney, my gosh, bro. Yeah, I mean, there's just a long history there. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I would just probably appreciate that I have one of the best kickers in the league. He's a great dude, a hometown guy. Like, just give him a deal. Like, let's not even screw around with doing tender stuff.
Deal.
Like, let's just give him a deal, and at least you're good there. But it's tough. It is tough, because if I was a Seattle fan, I'd be like, yeah, let me go get Nick Emenwari in the second round and feel great about it. I'd rather have Emenwari than Aubrey, but I don't trust the Cowboys to take Emenwari. They're going to take Scooney. Yeah. That's frustrating.
That's fair.
All right. Well, thank you to the great questions here in the Love of the Star Dean Julia mailbag. That'll do it for us today, Thursday, January 22nd. Of course, we'll be back in the coming days with more Cowboys content, and we will break in with an emergency podcast as soon as we finally get a defensive coordinator named here to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I just got a text from somebody in the building over there with the Cowboys, and they were talking. I was asking about Parker, and they said Parker was really, really good, but he says so was Jones. So there's maybe your decision right there.
Ooh,
I just said
buzzer. The buzzer. Brian brought us. I hope people didn't bail on this podcast right when we started to close things down here.
Yeah, I just got the text.
Nugget.
Yeah, he said Parker was really good. He says, but so was Jones. Maybe this is maybe be one of those two guys. We'll see how it plays.
I love it. Okay, at least he didn't mention Gannon's name. That's a beautiful thing. All right, that'll do it for us here on Love of the Star. We'll be back in the coming days. Thank you so much for being with us today. He's Brian Broaddus, the Super Bowl champion. I'm Eric Chiafalo. Hands and hug pounds, everybody.